During his rare interview, Colonel Assimi Goita, while hosting the summit of the Alliance of the Sahel States, he emphasized that there are, three pillars of the Confederation of the Sahel States, which are known as also the three Ds: diplomacy, defense, and development. Now, in his speech, while addressing the Confederation of the Sahel States summit, the key highlight takeaway were also revolving around this theme, which is sovereignty, self-reliance, unified security, and economic vision. So he kind of details it in his speech, which I am going to invite you to listen and watch at the same time in a minute.
Institutions of the Republic, and Professor Donguna Tra, former President of the Republic of Mali. Ladies and gentlemen, ministers, ambassadors, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would first like to extend a warm welcome to your home in Mali from Jatia. To my brothers, Excellencies Captain Ibrahim Traoré, President of FASO, Head of State Army General Abdurrahman Tani, President of the Republic of Niger, Head of State, and to all the members of your respective delegations. Obissimo.
Do you want outstanding results? You need a strong environment.
The Malian people are particularly honored to welcome you once again to Bamako on the occasion of the second session of the College of Heads of State of the Confederation of the States of Israel, AIS. Allow me to recall the context that presided over the creation of our Confederation in 2023. The brotherly P of Nigeria was facing an existential threat, unfortunately coming from certain initiatives led by African countries. Aware of the danger that such an approach posed to the whole of us and convinced that the Union would enable us to overcome our trials, he decided to establish a common front in order to prevent a repetition in our area of the tragic scenarios that occurred in Libya in 2011. This was one of the first major expressions of solidarity within a nascent SA. Subsequently, on July 7, 2024, in Angnam, the A in its current form was established. It was born out of a shared awareness of the need for a common response to the security, political, and economic threats that affect the stability of our federal space, in particular, armed terrorism groups of cross-border banditry and very forms of external interference. Since then, AS Confederation has successfully laid the groundwork for stronger integrated cooperation among its member states of ANU. During this first year of existence, in which I had the honor of being the inaugural speaker, our Confederation has affirmed its determination to take charge of its destiny with the exclusive interest and well-being of our populations as its guiding principle. In this regard, I would like to salute the unwavering commitment of our Confederal populations, who very early on understood the challenges of our fight, and supported us with concrete actions. The remarkable resilience praised by some and misunderstood by others is simply a reflection of their adherence to our strategic choices and the ideals upheld by the SA. I would also like to pay a heartfelt tribute to the diaspora of the confederal area, which has not remained on the sidelines of the ongoing changes. It has mobilized through awareness raising, contribution, and support actions around the objectives of our confederation. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to my brothers, their excellencies, President Saftian, for their active solidarity with the Malian people who have been facing economic terrorism of an unprecedented scale since the announcement of this second session was Shinamikyo. The aim of which is to push our brave people to revolt against this harmful campaign. We persevere and will withstand adversity. Our survival depends.
Le célèbre économiste Charles Gave tire la sonnette d'alarme en direct à la télé. Dans le
Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I would now like to take stock of the achievements of the AIS Confederation around these three pillars: defense and security, diplomacy, and development. The armed forces of the Mediterranean states coordinated in secret from the IS's very first days. Significant progress has been made, allowing, among other things, for strengthened control of border areas and improve security in the interest of our states, considerably reducing the freedom of action of armed terrorist groups. Thanks to the commitment and professionalism of our defense and security forces, several thousand terrorists have been neutralized. Hundreds of sanctuaries have been destroyed, and significant quantities of equipment have been seized. I also welcome the gradual expansion of the unified force of the AIS Confederation, supported by draft protocols and practical arrangements now defined in order to respond effectively to security challenges. Our Confederation remains committed to developing its own military and security capabilities by consolidating the unified AS force and strengthening inter-army coordination. Beyond strictly military action, civil initiatives have been undertaken in the liberated areas in order to restore the authority of the state, strengthen cooperation between the defense forces and the populations, and promote social cohesion. Thus, I would like to pay a vibrant tribute to all the civilian and military victims who fell at the hands of human barbarity. In their memory, I ask you to observe a minute of silence. Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen invited, on the diplomatic front, the SA Confederation emerged in a complex geopolitical environment marked by the return of power relations influence games, and attempts at interference. This reality has led us to adopt an appropriate and fully assumed proactive stance and thanks to the consistency of its positions and the effectiveness of its actions, the SA Confederation has gradually been able to assert itself on the regional and international scene as a whole. Several states and international organizations now understand that the S is an essential interlocutor in the CEL. The Malian presidency, the diplomatic consultation mechanisms established by the heads of state have allowed for the exclusion of common positions on various subjects of shared interest, particularly within international organizations and bodies. The diversification of our partnerships, including with emerging powers and international organizations, will contribute to further strengthening geopolitics and the AIS space. In this regard, I would like to thank the sincere and reliable partners who have understood the essence of our struggle and have made the responsible choice to support us. Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, in terms of development, our space, too often described as poor and underdeveloped, actually has immense agricultural and many industrial potential, as well as favorable demographics. So our ambition is to build harmonious development based on the sovereign exploitation of our resources for the exclusive benefit of our populations, and on the enhancement of our cultural heritage. To this end, structuring initiatives have been undertaken, include the creation of the Confederal Bank for Investment and Development with an initial capital of 500 billion CFA francs, as well as the implementation of the Confederal levy, which constitutes major levers for financing our projects. The AIS television channel that we have just inaugurated will contribute to strengthening ties between our populations and combating disinformation, which our Confederation has been losing its focus since its creation. Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished guests, in the same spirit, a purchasing center for basic necessities is being created to better meet the basic needs of our populations through AER. In order to ensure the free movement of people and goods within our territory, travel documents such as the AS passport and the AS biometric card have been put into circulation. Of our Confederation in terms of economic and social development is filled with hope because we have been able to define and implement policies aimed at ensuring sovereignty over our resources and our economic choices. As a perspective, the continuation of major infrastructure projects for the internal and external opening up of the SA Confederation are underway, namely an airline A highway and AA ni Tamangako Nyame Wagadu Railway. The additional protocol drawn up and relating to the defense and security diplomacy and development pillars, as well as to the confederal sessions of parliaments, completes and strengthens the institutional architecture of the SA Confederation, and in accordance with the Treaty of July 6, 2024, establishing the Confederation of the States of Israel. Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished guests, I would finally like to express my sincere thanks to my brothers, their excellencies, Captain Ibrahim Travel, President of Atthe, President of FASO, Head of State, Army General Abdurrahman Tani, President of the Republic of Niger, Head of State, for the trust placed in me by entrusting with the inaugural presidency of the Confederation, as well as for their constant support in the accomplishment of this mission. The achievements made in terms of restoring peace, fighting terrorism and development, and defending the interests of IE on the international scene meet the legitimate aspirations of our people. With the support of our united and supportive peoples, we will succeed. With these words, I declare open the work of the second session of the College of Heads of State of the Confederation. Thank you.
Side 7, another facet of information in Burkina Faso.
So yeah, as you have seen, the three pillars are the ones that he gave emphasis. These are defense, development, and diplomacy. Under security and defense, there's immediate military intervention, operational successes, and unified forces command. Under sovereignty and diplomacy, he talked about diversified partnership, countering foreign influences, and foreign influence and rejection of economic terrorism and economic and social development. There are things that he touched up, but mainly those are the three pillars. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and let us know what do you think of his speech.